Today, we'll review 3 major updates from Elon Musk about the Tesla bot Optimus, when to expect full self-driving to combine the city and highway software stacks, and why he ended talks with Oracle to build a $10 billion server deal. He clarifies that xAI is building the 100,000 H100 system themselves. Elon believes speed to market is absolutely critical, and this is the fastest way for them to get there. In the end, he's saying that this training cluster will be the most powerful in the world by a large margin. I've got Brian White with me. Brian is the host of his own YouTube channel called FutureAza. Thank you so much, Brian.
Wow, what a week. It always is. We seem to find so much news to talk about, and this is all big stuff.
Brian, I just love what you're doing and your channel. You are one of the only people I know that travel so much. You were in Europe, you were in Detroit, then you went, you drove around the US, and then now you're going to go to Mexico. So you are, and you get access to, like, I think you said the Kia factory and others. Tell me more about the new episodes you're going to be publishing.
So tonight I am flying out. I am heading to, by the time you see this, I may have already been gone. I don't know yet, but it is a big trip. I'm going to hopefully be seeing the inside of the Kia factory that is open for tours for the right people. And maybe I'm the right person, but I'm also going to be checking out a lot of the Chinese cars that are for sale in the market. I've been talking with Chery, GAC, JAC, MG, BYD. These are cars available for sale in North America. And we got to see what's going on because these things are happening.
Wow. Fantastic. Love it that you're doing that, Brian. Okay, let's get... So here's Elon Musk, and he's had several updates on the things, on everything we want to hear about. So AI, bot, and the FSD. So let's start with his comment about the bot. So I'm taking some of the conversations a little bit out of context here, but he was talking about all the AI and the xAI and the biggest data center, which we'll cover later. But let's talk about what he said about the bot. So this person, Daniel Fong, says Elon's going to come out into the top tier of the heavyweight AI companies just because no one else has the ability or will to stand up on their own power plants yet, right? This person says this is a full stack AGI integration play for Elon. Okay, you got energy, which Tesla can provide, the power packs and so forth, the mega packs. You got data from X and the ability to communicate that data through the satellites, Starlink. You got compute from xAI. We'll cover how much exactly that they're building there. Then you got robotics from Tesla. So executing on these on the high dimensional chess while everyone else is just yaps. Well, Elon replied to that, saying that the new Optimus design, the bot, which will be complete later this year, is something special. This comment about, Tesla and Elon combining all of his different companies together and that matters. What's your thoughts on that, Brian?
So Danielle nailed the important part, and this is going to come up again later in the conversation today, but power is the big one. We need a lot of power. And I think that we're going to see increasingly that it's not just about can you stand up a building and fill it with servers, it's about making the whole thing run. And if you can't do that and you can't do it on the timelines we need, we're going to have to find our own solutions, which is something Elon and his companies, his various companies, are very good at, whether it's designing your own ceramics to make a starship work as intended, or inventing a whole new system of communication. So yes, Danielle is actually absolutely right on that. I don't know how big of a role something like Starlink will play in the movement of data between the various server centers. But in a lot of cases, getting the data in and out is the easy part. Computing it is the hard part. And I could see Starlink being very useful in terms of moving data if there's any kind of network outage. But nobody can touch this. Nobody's got anything like this. And it's that exact synergy between the companies that's going to be and has already been so hugely successful. And we've seen plenty of people complain, oh, he focuses too much on this or that, or resources. I don't want my resources inside Tesla being shared with another company for free. Nothing's for free. It's all partnerships. It's all on the up and up, I assure you. But do you think SpaceX investors get angry when they say, well, some of SpaceX's mental energy was spent helping Tesla develop an alloy for automotive application. Well, you know what? Those motors, those actuators end up right back on the Starship, right back on Falcon. So it is all systems that work together.
Yeah, I like the way that you started that, right? You said that energy is the most important thing. I do agree with you there. So the data centers, right? AI is the big play. Who's going to power these AIs? And you've got energy, that the megapacks that Tesla's doing. Now we've actually started to finally see a lot of institutional investors waking up, and they're talking about Morgan Stanley just dropped I know, talking about that energy is going to be larger than automobile, and they're getting it. So energy is the most important thing, but the inference strips as well, right? So you have the AI compute on the data centers, but you need the inference compute. And so if every bot has an inference compute chip in their brains, right, in their body, how are they going to communicate? Well, how do the cars communicate? They all communicate right now, right? They go through the internet and so forth. Well, if you had Starlink, you can have a bot basically, right, always communicating anytime, anywhere, everywhere. So you can see that working really well. You got the data, right? You need the data to train, just like OpenAI uses some sort of web data, YouTube data to be able to train and teach. So this is big. You can see all the the combination. We haven't even seen Grok integrated into the cars or the bots yet. When that comes there, I think it'll be so much more like people will start realizing exactly how this combination no one can beat this.
Well, look at it this way. Let's say you need to get all this data from these cars back to the mothership. One easy way to do that. Now, I don't necessarily think you'd want to be trying to transmit that much data from the vehicles directly to Starlink. It'd be a slower connection, but you just put up hotspots at every supercharger. And when the cars get near a supercharger, the data just goes, and and if the network is too congested, maybe it doesn't go right now. Let's prioritize the paying customers first. And when we get this data, we get it. We still need it either way. It would just work. And I had a situation happen where on the road trip, I had an update ready. I was ready to get 12.3.6, and I just wasn't near Wi-Fi. I got to a charger. I'm sitting there charging. All of a sudden it says, "Oh, by the way, we've downloaded your update. It's ready." I was like,
Yeah.
well, look at that.
This simple thing about software updates, over the air updates, it's interesting that, right? I mean, it sounds so simple. It sounds so simple. Everything should be just over the update. And Tesla's been doing it for a decade. And yet many car companies, very few of them actually have this capability. Some of them you have to go and drive the car to the dealership service center to be able to get the update, plug it in. But imagine about the bot companies, if other bots don't have this yet either. So it's like even little things like that. And the design. So what do you think about this comment? Elon said that the new Optimus design, which will be complete later this year, is something special. So he already talked about how there's going to be a massive hardware revision for the bot you saw Gen 2. It's just amazingly updated already. Gen 3 is going to be better. It's going to have 22 degrees of freedom for the hands, and the arms will be all connected together. But boy, this is, he does seem to always get excited, but sometimes he's not exaggerating.
Well, I'll tell you what got me excited about this particular one was Dr. Scott Walter had a look at the fact that the Optimus Gen 2 is on display, or was on display, at the big robotics show in China. And big deal, everyone's there, right? That's why we know that Gen 2 is so primitive and so out of date that it's meaningless to the competition. If it was something new and revolutionary, they wouldn't dare put it on display in a room full of the literal world's best experts on robotics, because that would give them an unfair competitive advantage. It would show them behind the curtain. When Dr. Scott Walter saw that, he said, "Oh, wow, this means that there's literally nothing on Gen 2 worth stealing."
Interesting.
So Gen 3 is going to be, well, what's it going to be? I don't know, but look at Gen 0, which was a person in a suit, Gen 1, which was just a big clunky machine, and Gen 2, they're all, every time we've seen it, it's so new and different that it makes the old one look pretty primitive. So I think Gen 3 is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be, we'll see, much more slimmer maybe. And this is it, right? Because they're planning to do 1,000 to 2,000 next year. So Gen 3 is going to come out, and then they'll start mass producing this, like 1,000, 2,000. So he's actually said the words, he goes 1,000, maybe a few thousand. So people assumed it was 2, but actually it could be more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's his comments about the bot. Here's what he said about FSD. So Omar says FSD 12.4.3 still ping-ponging within the lane, too much on highways. I was able to get 12.4.3 2-3 days ago now. One of the early ones, I think it's now at the 1% to 3% distribution, going wide now, but it's about 3% of people getting it. He still thinks it's ping-ponging. Elon replied to him and he said 12.5.x will finally combine the city and highway software stacks. So that's the update. Right now we're at 12.4.3. So it'll be another revision before they combine the city and highway software stacks. So this it is taking them a little bit longer to do this. I thought that they were going to do it by 12.4, but this is it, right? There's two things I'm waiting for. So this one is not that big of a deal to me. It's the summon and banish. And by the way, Omar, I was asked that question. It says, when is banish and summon going to come? And for people who don't know, banish is when if you're in let's say a parking lot, you say banish, and the car will drop you off at the front, whatever, and it'll find its own parking spot. And then summon is the opposite. When you come in there, you go, come get me wherever I'm at. It'll come out of the parking lot, come get you. Omar said that those actually Tesla employees are actually testing that now, but they haven't decided to roll it out yet. So that might come. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you say we are on 12.4x, I would ask who this we is you speak of, unless you and your tapeworm both have it.
I told you.
I do.
About 3%. 3% of people have it right now.
Yeah. I last week ran a poll or made a post on X saying, I'm still stuck on 12.3.6. What the heck is going on? And absolutely everyone said, we all are. We all are. It'll be interesting to see. I thought the 12.4 branch was going to get us into a combined stack. I'm not super worried about it. The ping-ponging, I haven't experienced it. I'm not on that version, but it's all very exciting. And I hope that, I know that there's a first wave of influencers who get it. And I guess I've been too critical of FSD in the past to get on that list. But,
don't say that. Don't say that. That's actually not true. It's really random. Sometimes I get it early. Sometimes I get it really late. So it's got nothing. I don't think.
Well, there are a handful of people who definitely always get it first.
I'm not one of those.
No, we're not cool enough, Herbert.
No. I don't do it enough. Okay, so that's FSD, and we'll see. Other updates on that. Let's talk AI. This is the big one.
This is the big one. Mm-hmm.
So you've got this news that came out and said that xAI and Oracle have ended their talks on a service deal. So I'm going to go and give you the updates of what this article said, but Elon replies and clarifies. So a lot of what they're saying may not be exactly what's happening. So xAI is now deciding to build their own chips, is buying their own chips and building their own data center. That part is true. So they've ended talks. He's good friends with Oracle. Larry Ellison, right? Talks broke down because of a disagreement over timeline and power supply concerns. And Elon does confirm that the reason they did this is they need to move faster. And that's why they need to, he says, have our hands. It's got to be in our own hands. Our fate has to be in our hands. xAI is now building its own AI data center in Memphis. That's always been true. The potential deal was $10 billion. The company is purchasing NVIDIA chips from Dell and Supermicro for this project. xAI already rents about 16,000 NVIDIA chips from Oracle, which will continue for now. Elon plans to build a supercomputer with 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs for training Grok 3.0. And this is new. Oracle signed a deal with Microsoft to provide NVIDIA power servers for OpenAI. The Oracle-Microsoft deal involves 100,000 of NVIDIA's upcoming GB200 chips. So this arrangement is estimated to cost about $5 billion over 2 years. The new chip cluster is expected to be ready by Q2 and will be located in Texas. So here's what Elon said. So he clarified, confirmed this. He goes, xAI contracted for 24,000 H100s from Oracle and Grok 2 trained on those. Grok 2 is going through fine-tuning and bug fixes, probably ready to release next month. Yeah, and he's teased us saying that Grok 2 is going to be even better than the existing OpenAI and other large language models that are out there. xAI is building the 100,000 H100 system itself for fastest time to completion. Aiming to begin training later this month, it will be the most powerful training cluster in the world by large margin. That's a critical statement right there. And of course, everybody's leapfrogging everybody. So, maybe that's what it is now. And then he explains the reason we decided to do the 100,000 H100s and next major system internally was that our fundamental competitiveness depends on being faster than any other AI company. This is the only way to catch up. So it's true that they're behind, they started late, but they need to move faster than anyone else, and they need to put that in their own hands. Oracle's a great company, and there's another company that shows promise, also involved in that OpenAI what? Oh, Oracle's a great company. Oh, and there is another company that shows promise, also involved in that OpenAI, Microsoft. But when our fate depends on being the fastest by far, we must have our own hands on the steering wheel rather than be a backseat driver.
This is exactly what's going on. Why would you? So why you would hire someone like Oracle when you need a server farm. I need a server farm. You know how to build them. Let's just get it done. But then they start saying things like, well, we need, we're having some problems procuring, in this case, the power to run it. So that's going to be our delay. We can do all the other stuff, but we got to hang tight on power. And that's simply unacceptable. So, well, I tell you what, you go out and find the power and then we'll make it work. If I'm finding the power, I'm doing all the heavy lifting. You think I don't have people who know how to rent a building and connect computers inside of it? The whole reason I wanted you to do this is so you could be the end-to-end solution, and you're just doing parts of it. You're not even doing the big ends of it. So if that's the case, we got to do it ourselves. And that's what we've seen Tesla do with they are their own general contractor. Well, a general contractor is a very big responsibility, and even the best ones make mistakes. I'd like to bring that in-house, take that big chunk of expense and just spend it internally because we can do it better. Same with self-driving. They partnered with Mobileye. You guys know what you're doing, right? And the more they looked at it, they realized they really don't know what they're doing. Their approach is not going to work. And here we are all these years later, and Mobileye, even after having been bought out by Intel, is still lagging. So there are times when you look at it and say, why am I paying you all this money when I should just be doing it myself? When I was in Texas and Arizona, I had a chance to talk with power plant engineers. And what I said is, look at this new 500 megawatts that Texas will need to run these computers. How big of a deal is it? And the one of them hadn't seen that number, and the look on his face was alarming. He was shocked at the power consumption. But the answer is, it's a grid. You can just buy it off the grid, but someone has to put it on the grid. You're going to need to find someone who can take a mothballed power plant and bring it back on. You're going to need to find someone who can deploy a massive amount of new energy. Tesla uniquely will have the ability to arbitrage power at these very hungry plants by installing megapacks. But megapacks cost big money, and they're not that big compared to the scale of power needed for a data center like this. These aren't just servers pulling up pictures of cats. These are heavy-duty machines running at full steam, processing some of the most challenging tasks ever assigned to a computer, specifically language about pictures of cats. But they're going to need to figure all that out. So if Oracle isn't doing the end-to-end part, why are we even paying them? Let's build it ourselves.
Yeah, I think the part that gets me very excited is Elon is not, and we know this about him and Tesla and xAI, that they don't just shoot for good enough. They want best. And here he says this, right? It will be the most powerful training cluster in the world by a large margin. even if that's an overstatement, even if it's not by the time it comes out, it's still
But
close enough,
no,
right?
but
It
but
can't be
Herbert,
that
you
far
miss
off.
it. It can't be the biggest and fastest because they're competing with all these other companies for the same chips. In order for it to
Mhm.
be the biggest and fastest by a large margin, they would need to design their own chips and have those being built and rolled out. Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
Dojo,
which they are. And that could
which they are.
surprise everybody. There's actually rumors now. I think we heard Kathy Wood say that the dojo is being underplayed. It's a lot bigger than people are realizing. And we, like some of us think that she gets some inside info, not inside info, but, like she is able to piece things a little bit more because of the information. So here's Gary Mark, and he said this: the xAI data center in Memphis is ramping up very quickly. This is the photo of the Memphis data center. I mean, this is popping up. These things just, Elon and Tesla, and of course, xAI is a different company, but they're Elon, Muskonomies. They know how to build factories. And so to build data centers, they pulled the right people that knows how to build, megapack factories and how to build Tesla factories, and they can just pop this up and fast. And so you can see there's Elon there in the middle, and they all doing the X symbol, which is cool. And you got all these servers there. This is just brilliant. This guy here is a little upset, but it's so cool. So yeah, final thoughts on that.
Yes, the final thoughts are the reason everyone in that picture is wearing short sleeves is because it's hot in that room. This is happening, and the biggest concern right now is getting enough power online to manage it. And fortunately, we're in a greener economy than ever, so hopefully that will all work. How big are these problems to solve? We don't know. AI is still in its infancy. If Grok 2 comes out and shows the kind of promise we expected, because Grok 1 for a first product was breathtaking. It felt like a third or fourth generation product. So if Grok 2 is a genuine big step ahead and Grok 3 is somehow better than that, I'm not sure. We've got a lot to, look forward to.
Wonderful. Thanks, Brian. That was good. We covered 3 major updates Elon just dropped. He's every single day, he's saying something about Tesla xAI. He's really involved. Love to see this. And we're watching it every single day, the things that he's saying that's improving. And then we see it come, right? FSD 12.5 is the next thing he's already talking about. 12.4.3 is here. And then we're watching the bot. We've already seen Optimus Gen 2 blow everybody away. Now we're expecting Gen 3, which he's teasing is going to be even bigger. But that's the end of this year, another 6 more months. And then you've got AI, servers, data centers, the largest, xAI. And then Grok 3. So Grok 2 will come. He's just said that later this, shortly. And then that's what they're going to demo on the cars. That's what they'll demo on the bots. And so if these guys make huge improvements on that, I can't wait to see that demo of what you can say, how intelligent these things will become, right? It's like,
and don't forget that Dojo 1, the chip that's being rolled out now, is a design that is years old at this point, and they have surely not stopped. There is going to be a Dojo 2 and 3 that are already in the works, and those are going to be just as exciting still.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much, Brian. Follow him on his YouTube channel, FutureAza. Thanks, everybody. Catch that fly. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.